Hello dear students, welcome to this amazing session and I hope everyone is fit and fine. So today we are going to study about continental drift theory. So continental drift theory can be regarded as one of the most earliest theory, and this particular theory has paved for advent of certain new advanced theories in its way. We will see how this happened. Okay, so this theory of continental drift, it is an attempt to explain the present arrangement of continents and ocean basins. The idea of continental drift is very old, as Abraham Ortelius in his book Thesaurus Geographicus and Antonio Sp explained about the drift in his book Creation and its Mysteries Revealed. You must be wondering that we have studied out Alfred Wegener, but here I am discussing about these geographers. So Alfred Wegener came in 1915, means his theory came in 1915. Okay, before this, these were the geographers who have also talked about some part of continental drift in their respective books. So whenever you are writing an answer for main exam, particularly for geography optional, so you have to keep remember certain other geographers as well. And if you are quoting their books along with their years, so it gives a very good impression on examiner also. It gives an impression that this particular candidate has done a comprehensive study, a very deep study in these theories. Okay, so let's talk about Alfred Wegener now. So theory of continental drift. So Alfred Wegener is basically regarded as father of continental drift, simple because of the reason that his theory became much more popular as compared to any other geographer. So he is generally referred as the father of continental drift. He wrote a book, Origin of Continents and Ocean Basins, in 1915, and this book became much more popular. Means on internet you will find that Alfred Wegener has given this theory in 1912, but here I am writing 1915. So it simply means that his theory was in publishing phase, maybe in translation phase, because this theory got published in various languages also. Okay, so finally his book appeared in 1915, in which he has deeply discussed he has discussed in detail about the continental drift mechanism, a particular process which has happened long back, millions of years back, and he said that this is a continuous process, that is still the continents are drifting. Let us see this. Yes, let us see this. So he developed the concept of Pangea. This here you can see that the entire world, according to this theory, what is the main idea of this theory? That the entire world which we are seeing here, which we are seeing today on map, this entire world was clubbed into a single landmass, a single supercontinent, which he named as Pangea. Now, what is the name of this? What is the literal meaning of this Pangea word? So, Pan means all. Okay, Pan means all, and Gea means earth, means all earth, means all the landmass of the earth was combined to form a single supercontinent, and he named it as Pangea. This Pangea was surrounded by a very huge water body which is known as Panthalassa. Okay, so here you can see this Pangea start getting separated like this. Means this Pangea, Pangea basically it was clubbed as a single landmass. Later on, this broke into two parts, Gondwana land and Laurasia land, and gradually ये land part separate होते रहे, and the current scenario, the current situation, the current arrangement of the continents of the world emerged on the map. Okay, so here in this animation you can see this thing also, how the continents has emerged. Like previously, initially they were a single united landmass which got separated later on. So as I told you that this Pangea got separated into two parts, Laurasia and the Gondwana land. The Laurasia part moved towards the north. It was comprising America, Greenland, Eurasia. Okay, and the Gondwana land was comprising South America, Africa, Madagascar, India, Southwest Asia, Australia, Antarctic. So do remember one thing, that India was the part of Gondwana land. Because these type of questions are quite asked in MCQ type of format. But here we are discussing about the optional part. So whatever be the important things are there related to prelims, related to your MCQs, I will keep notifying you about those topics also. So for prelims point of view, just remember one thing, that India was the part of Gondwana land. So moving further, so this animation gives you a clear idea that how the landmass was clubbed together as a single united landmass, which he referred as Pangaea, and later on how this Pangaea got separated into separate continents, and the current situation, the current arrangement of the continents on the map of world appeared to us. Okay, so the theory of continental drift, the Pangaea was surrounded by a huge panthalassa, and this panthalassa is the current Pacific Ocean. Means we can say that the current Pacific Ocean is basically a remnant of uh, Panthalassa. It is a residue of the Panthalassa. Okay, in the same way, the Pangaea started breaking up in the Carboniferous period about 300 million years back. So guys, like there is a calendar for a year, like there is a month of January, Feb, March, April, May, June, and so on. In the same way, in the geographical history also there are timelines. So these timelines has been divided into various phases, and these phases has been named by different names. So in the Carboniferous period, which dates back to 300 million years ago, the Pangaea started breaking up. Okay, and this Pangaea got broken up into two parts, which I told you as the northern part was named as Laurasia, and the southern part was named as Gondwana land. He was of the opinion, he means Alfred Wegener was of the opinion that the continental masses are floating over the oceanic basins. Okay, this was his idea. I'm not saying this from my side. This was his idea that the continental masses are floating over the oceans. Okay, so Wegener developed this concept while trying to explain the climates of the past. Basically, he was a botanist. Like there are students ask me कि sir हमने तो meteorologist पढ़ा था, आप botanist बता रहे हैं. तो he was a botanist cum meteorologist. Okay, and in that time basically people were having multiple interest in multiple subjects. So he was basically a meteorologist cum botanist. So he was observing that there are certain kinds of vegetation. Like there are vegetations which can be found only in the tropical region, but the fossils of these vegetations can be found in the Greenland, in the Antarctic region. मीन्स कोई वेजिटेशन है जो ट्रॉपिकल रीजन में मिल रही है, लेकिन उसके फॉसिल्स आर अवेलेबल इन ग्रीनलैंड, इन एंटार्क्टिक, इन कोल्डर रीजन्स. सो हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल? अगर कोई वेजिटेशन कॉन्टिनेंट कोई ट्रॉपिकल रीजन में है, मींस एक हॉट एंड वार्म रीजन में है, सो हाउ द फॉसिल्स ऑफ दैट वेजिटेशन कैन बी अवेलेबल इन द कोल्डर रीजन्स? दिस वाज वन हिज क्वेश्चन व्हिच वाज पजलिंग हिज माइंड, जो which was keep coming in mind, it was keep emerging in his mind. Second thing, he saw fossils of certain mammals, certain large land dwellers, means certain large animals which dwell on earth. तो बेसिकली ऐसे जो एनिमल्स हैं, मीन्स these large size animals, इनके fossils you can find on almost every continent. This will see here, you can see here, like this is a mammal. Okay, and this is a mammal, this is a large size mammal, and this fossil is available in Africa, then in Antarctic, Australia, India. So these land masses are separated from each other with thousands of kilometers. So it is not possible for such a large size mammal to swim for such a thousands of kilometers. So this is only possible when these land masses were clubbed together as a single land mass, and these animals, these reptiles, they were free to roam around the entire corner of this landmass. Okay, so this was his basic idea, where he gave this, these are the fossils, these are the fossils of plants, these are the fossils of mammals, these are the fossils of reptiles, which can be found in the tropical region, which can be found in the subtropical region, and this can be found in the colder region, in ice permafrost region. Permafrost means where the soil is permanently frozen, permafrost region. Okay, extremely cold regions. So why the glaciers have covered parts of Brazil, Peninsula, India, Australia, and Congo Basin? Yes, Indian Peninsula was covered once with ice. It was the ice age part when Indian Peninsula was covered with ice, and you can see here on our coast also, the coasts are at some places the coasts are very discordant, highly dissected. That is the reason that they were basically glaciated at that particular time. So Wegener hypothesized and explained these points with the help of climatic change in the past. The climatic change may be explained in three ways. So basically, when Wegener was seeing there are tropical plants whose fossils can be seen in Antarctic and in Arctic region, or let's say in any colder region, in any permafrost region. So How it could be possible? So it could be possible that either the sun rays were has changed their position. Means today sun rays are falling completely straight on equator. So maybe possible at some point of time the sun rays were falling straight on pole. But practically we can see this thing, and we can, when we measure this thing, when we analyze this thing, so it is almost impossible that sun rays were falling vertical over pole or any other cold region, right? So basically the second possibility was that the sun rays were not if the sun rays has not diverted from their original path, then there is a possibility that these land masses has drifted away from their original position. So he just moved on, because he could not explain that how the sun rays can give different radiations, different rays at different places. So this he couldn't explain, or obviously हम ऐसा explain नहीं कर सकते कि how sun rays are giving different radiations at different point of time. Sun rays are falling vertical over equator due to a reason, and sun rays are falling oblique on pole. That we have a practical reason. But if we are saying that sun rays are falling vertical over pole, so we can't explain this type of thing. So basically he ruled out this possibility, and he moved with the possibility that these continents were earlier they were clubbed together as a single united landmass, which got further separated due to particular reason. So guys, this was a basic idea which he gave in his theory. So since climatic zones are controlled by the heat from the sun, their shift cannot be explained. So this point has to be noted here, that their shift cannot be explained. It is more probable that the land mass have changed their position. So this point is important, which I have explained you right now. So direction of drift. So it was having two directions. First one towards the equator due to the gravitational attraction exerted by the Earth's equatorial bulge, and the second drift was towards the west due to the attractional force of the moon and the sun. Okay, so these were the reasons which he gave. Suppose if I am Alfred Wegener, okay, and if I say, bhai, there was single continent, this continent broke into two parts, Gondwana land and Laurasia land. So you will ask me, no sir, what is the reason why they have got separated? What is the reason? भाई क्या रीजन था, क्यों ब्रेकअप हो गया इनका, किस बात पे झगड़ा हो गया? You will ask me ना. So that is the thing here, कि when he explained these points, जब इसने force के responsible examples दिए कि due to these forces these continents broke into two parts, here only this theory got rejected, और इसी वजह से basically this theory was rejected, and he was declared as a very shrewd person, a crank who selectively chose those examples which can prove his theory. So suppose if I am Alfred Wegener and I am giving you this theory, so you will also ask me one more thing. So what is the proof for it? What is the proof of your theory? Suppose if I say that the continent was a single united landmass and they got separated, and the present shape of the world emerged due to drifting of these continents. So you'll ask me, sir, what is the reason, what is the evidence, what proof do you have? So he gave certain evidences. In support of his theory. He gave the example of jigsaw fit, and this was the question which was asked recently also as a short note. So do remember about jigsaw fit. Jigsaw fit means what? You must have played jigsaw fit games during your childhood, okay, where you have to make a scenery, you have to make a face of a person by selecting those broken cubes. Same is the thing here. If you see the similarity of this eastern side of this South America and the western side of Africa, you can see कि if we bring these close to each other, अगर हम साउथ अमेरिका के ईस्टर्न साइड को एंड अफ्रीका के वेस्टर्न साइड को इफ वी ब्रिंग क्लोजर टू देम, दे कैन इंटरलॉक विद ईच अदर जस्ट लाइक अ पीस ऑफ टॉर्न पेपर्स. ठीक है, जैसे कोई एक पेज होता है, हमने उसको दो पीसेस में जो है उसको हमने टॉर्न कर दिया, फाड़ दिया है, एंड व्हेन वी ब्रिंग देम क्लोजर they can easily interlock with each other. Same is the case here कि when you bring the eastern side of South America and the western side of Africa close to each other, they can easily interlink with each other. So this shows that they were according to him, this shows that these were the part of a land mass which has got separated, and the land mass has moved further away from each other. So this was his first evidence. Then he gave the example of various fossils, like he gave the example of Glossopteris, Sinopthenus, then Mesosaurus. They were belonging from the dinosaur family. Then he gave the example of certain vegetation which is known as Glossopteris. And you can see that these fossils, their fossils can be found on entire world, on entire continents or the maximum continents of the world. Means, for example, if you see this reptile Sinopthenus, so you can see that their fossils are available in South America as well as Africa. So how is it possible for such a reptile to swim for thousands of kilometers from the coast of South America to Africa? So this is really very seems to be very impossible part, or next to be impossible thing. Yeah, large size animals are traveling thousands of kilometers on in ocean water. Okay, then rock types. Another important evidence which he gave in support of his theory, rock type. He said कि if you know, if you analyze the composition, if you analyze the composition of the rocks available on the eastern side of the Brazil or South America with the western coast of Africa, you'll see there is a huge similarity in the composition of the rocks, composition and nature of rocks. So this was again an important evidence in support of his theory. Then the folded mountain ranges at Cape of Good Hope and rocks of Buenos Aires resemble with each other. So Buenos Aires rocks are available in Argentina and the Cape of Good Hope available in another part, a distant part. So here you can see that they have a very huge similarity. Major lava plateaus of South America, Western Africa, Madagascar, India and Antarctic have the same geological structure. So these are the evidences in support of his theory. Next. So here you can see that this is the part of Africa, this is the part of North America, and here you can see the similarity in the coastline. Means the eastern side of North America with the western side of Africa. Here the eastern side of Greenland with the western side of Europe. So here you can see that there is huge similarity in the nature and composition of rock structures. So these another evidence from glaciation. Evidence from glaciation. So about 300 million years back in the Paleozoic era, glaciers covered the southern hemisphere including South America, Africa, India, Australia. India may basically it was covering the entire peninsular India. It was covering the entire peninsular India. This part, it was ice covered region. It was ice covered. Okay. So the event of glaciation, it is we can see that this particular portion, and this Madagascar, then the southern portion of Africa, then the southeastern part of South America, the Antarctic, these all regions were covered with ice. Although Antarctic is still covered with ice, but how we can justify that Africa was covered with ice or Indian Peninsula was covered with ice? So basically previously they were a single landmass. Okay. So again he gave an example, he gave a proof as a glaciation as a proof. Okay, he gave glaciation as a proof to support his theory. Next, evidences from other paleoclimatic records like great coal deposits. So coal deposits, how coal deposits are formed, how coal is formed. Basically when a a wide area, a wide jungle, it gets submerged, okay, or it is buried under soil for thousands of years, for millions of years, and under high pressure, high temperature, they gets converted into hydrocarbons. So basically coal deposits are available on entire continents, entire corners of the continents. They are available in Africa, they are available in South America, India, Antarctic, northern side of Europe, Greenland region, Northern America part, Canadian part. So all these regions are having coal deposits. So this again proves this theory. Yes, there were dense vegetation, and these vegetations got buried under soil for thousands of years, which later on get converted into hydrocarbons as coal. Next, paleomagnetic evidences. So paleomagnetic evidence shows what? It basically shows that there was a magnetic reversal. There was a magnetic reversal. Means today's northern side of magnetic pole, it was different from the time 300 million years back. Okay, so this is the present condition. This is the present condition normal today. This is the present condition, and if we are reversing this, so the northern side of the magnetic pole is here, and the southern side of the magnetic pole is on this side. Okay, so this is the northern magnetic pole. So this is how basically it's he said that the magnetic poles has reversed their position. The northern pole, the northern magnetic pole, which appears today as northern side, it was previously a southern side. So again, this theory got a very strong evidence as a paleomagnetic evidence. Now, these are some diagrams which are very useful for you. So just go through them whenever you have some time. These are some extra diagrams. Just refer them once. Then let us come to the criticism part. Now criticism part पे जब हम लोग आते हैं basically, and as you know that he said कि भाई the continents हैं, they started moving away from each other. When we ask कि what was the reason, what was the force responsible for the movement of these continents, he said gravitational pull of sun and moon. He said the rotational force of earth. In simple words I am saying, like pole fleeing force and attractional force of sun and moon. So I am saying in simple words ki like rotational force of earth and gravitational pull of sun and moon. So these examples, these reason for the force responsible for the movement of continent, if we apply practically these the magnitude of these forces, so his theories reasons got cancelled here only. Okay, like for example, he said ki the gravitational force of sun and moon was very strong, and it led to the crack in the Pangea. So let's say for this is a pendulum, and this pendulum is seesawing at a very faster pace, and when I bring a magnet close to this, so it will stop seesawing right now. Okay, and at a particular time it will just it will stop to a particular position. In the same way, if earth is rotating on its axis, if earth is rotating on its axis, and there is an outer body, there are outer body which are attractive, whose gravitational pull is very strong, so in that case what happen, it will lead to do, it will act as a brake, it will act as a brake for the rotation, on the rotational movement of earth. Okay, so basically अगर अर्थ अपने एक्सिस पर रोटेट कर रही है, एंड देयर इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लैनेट जो उसकी अपनी ग्रेविटी, अपनी ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स इस अर्थ पे लगा रहा है, तो ड्यू टू दिस वेरी रीजन, इफ द ग्रेविटी is so strong that it can lead to break in the continent, so ऐसी कंडीशन में अर्थ will not be able to move, to rotate on its axis. मीन्स अगर सन की ग्रेविटी, अर्थ की ग्रेविटी इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग, सन की ग्रेविटी एंड मून की ग्रेविटी इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है कि वो अर्थ के रोटेशनल फोर्स को रोक सकती है या कॉन्टिनेंट्स को ब्रेक कर सकती है, तो ऐसी कंडीशन में अर्थ पे लाइफ भी पॉसिबल नहीं हो पाती. ओके, सो ये चीज मतलब these forces, the reason which he gave, they were, when they applied them on practical basis, so there were various anomalies, there were various discrepancies. Okay, the scientists were reluctant in accepting the theory because there was not enough satisfactory explanation to the forces or mechanism that caused these continents to move such great distances until the 1960s, when the concept of plate tectonic was introduced. So basically, whenever you are going to get question in exam, you will get question as a blended question of continental drift theory and plate tectonic theory. Plate tectonic theory is the next topic, which is regarded as an improvement over the continental drift theory. Okay, so प्लेट टेक्टोनिक थ्योरी जब तक नहीं आ रही थी, तब तक ये थ्योरी जो है इसकी बहुत ज्यादा रिलेवेंस नहीं थी. ओके, देन इन अदर वर्ड्स, he could not explain what it was that made the continents move. When the plate tectonic theory was proposed, mental convection currents was the given mechanism to explain what made them move. Since the continents floated on the plates, the plate tectonic theory provided the much needed mechanism for Wagner's continental drift theory. At once it was readily accepted by most of all the geologists. Yes, it is the reality that till the advent of plate tectonic theory, the theory of Wagner was much like a rejected theory. Means ये था कि लोगों ने बोला कि यस, थ्योरी में दम थोड़ा बहुत था, मीन्स The person was able to relate continents on the basis of fossils, on the basis of rock composition, on the basis of glaciation, but he was not able to explain what was the force responsible for the movement, for the drifting of these continents. And due to only this reason, his theory was failed, his theory was rejected, and he was declared as a crank, as a shrewd person who has selectively chosen only those examples which can prove his theory. Although he died at the age of 50 years, Alfred Wegener, okay, he died at the age of 50 years on an expedition due to heart attack. But his theory impacted a large segment, a large lobby of geographers, and some of the geographers like Harry Hess, Hugo Benioff, Vadati, they continued to look for the force responsible for the movement of these continents, and gradually plate tectonic theory emerged as a major answer to all those unanswered questions, okay, all those questions which remain unanswered in the theory of Wegener, okay. So in spite of all the criticism, Wegener was able to keep continental drift part of the discussion till his death. To strengthen his case, he drew insights from the field of geology, geography, biology, and paleontology. Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, we can say that this was a theory which gave an idea that continent was a combined supercontinent which he named as Pangaea. This Pangaea was surrounded by a huge water body known as Panthalassa. Gradually, this Pangaea started separating away from each other, and he proved this by certain evidences like jigsaw fit, where he said if you bring certain coastlines close to each other, they can easily interlock with each other. Like the example of eastern side of the South America and western side of Africa. Similarly, there are certain other continents and land masses which, if you bring close to each other, they can easily fit together with each other. Okay. Then he gave an example of fossils of different mammals, different plants, like the one I showed you in diagram. Then he gave the example of glaciation. He gave the example of coal deposits and lots more. But when we ask about the force responsible for the movement of these continents, so here this theory was not able to explain exactly what was the force responsible for the movement of these continents, and there were certain people who still believed in this theory, but they were looking for the reason. They were looking for the reason ki, yes, what was the reason? The person was very good. He said certain things which were really very nice, which were really genuine. But he was very poor guy who was not able to explain the reason behind the movement of these continents. So there was people who was inspired from his theory, and they continued their research work. Okay, and in the process of finding the force responsible for the movement of this continental drift, there were so many other theories which came on the scene, like the seafloor spreading theory, okay, seafloor spreading hypothesis, or let's say for example marking of ring of fire zone, Benioff zone. So Hugo Benioff, then Harry Hess, who gave the concept of seafloor spreading, then Vadati. Okay, these were the geographers who continued the work, and gradually all these small researches, all these minor researches, they were compiled as a single large research which was named as plate tectonic theory. And this plate tectonic theory, it was basically scattered in various researches in certain departments in certain places. So all these minor researches, they were compiled together to form a bigger theory, a major theory known as plate tectonic theory. And for this, W.J. Morgan and Tuzo Wilson, they are regarded as the pioneer who have led to emergence of plate tectonic theory. Basically, we cannot credit a single geographer as a propounder of plate tectonic theory. Plate tectonic theory is a work of so many geographers, but Tuzo Wilson and W.J. Morgan, they are credited for making the theory so accessible, so readable, easy to understand. They were able to present this in a very lucid form, so that any layman who does not have any special knowledge of geography, he or she can read this theory and can easily understand what this theory exactly means to say. Okay, so now let us see what type of questions being asked in UPSC from this particular topic. So first question is, discuss the limitation of the theory of continental drift and show how the theory of plate tectonic is an improvement over it. So there are two theories here. So we have completed right now only continental drift theory. Once we complete the plate tectonic theory, so we would be able to answer this question. Next, bring out a distinction between the continental drift theory and the plate tectonic theory. Then critically evaluate the continental drift hypothesis of Alfred Wegener and write short note on Paleozoic glacial evidence of the continental drift. And recently there was a question of jigsaw fit also. Okay, as a short note. So you can write answer. This topic has a huge merit. Okay, it has huge importance. Whenever it is going to be asked, it can be asked for 5 marks, it can be asked for 10 marker question also, and it can be asked for 15 marker or 20 marker question also. So you have to prepare accordingly this topic. And if it is asked for 5 markers, obviously they will ask for a particular unit, particular section. Let's say Paleozoic glacial evidence. They are just asking about Paleozoic glacial evidence. So this can carry around 5 marks. Okay. So you have to prepare this topic as per the requirement of UPSC in the 5 marker format, in the 10 marker format, in the 15 marker format, and the 20 marker format. So do remember that there are certain diagrams which you have to draw, and these diagrams play a very important role, particularly if you are trying to score 320 plus in geography optional. Okay, so please make a habit to draw diagrams. They are really very important, and they play a very important role in helping you to secure 1 or 2 extra marks. If you are securing 1 mark, 2 marks extra in every question, or let's say in 50% question you are securing more than 1 marks or extra 1 marks means, so definitely you will be in the list. And I hope this will definitely help you a lot. So guys, very soon see you in this next session. Till then, bye bye, take care, and stay safe at your home.